justice and peace and equality. Now the world they will see.
Let's look at it for a second. The reason economics is so important is because that is how they function and thrive, off of our economics. We as a black race, and I will not call us black anymore, I will not call us African, we're Israelites. We support their system of economics. Now let's look at this. You go to work, you work for 40 hours a week, they pay you a salary to build furniture, all right? Mm-hmm. And that furniture you built that week, they sell for $3,000, and you made $300, okay? So you've helped build $103,000 sales. Then you get your money, say you may even get $600. You get your sales, and as a result, you go home and you pay rent or mortgage to a company or a landlord that's Jewish. So they've just paid you to go pay them, because now you're buying clothes from retailers that are Ashkenazi Jews. So you're putting the money you just made for them that you made there. Then you go to the furniture store and get on time that case you made for $150 during the week you worked and pay $3,000 for it on time. So every penny that they gave you, they get back plus. The system is designed to continue to empower them because money makes money. So we are now kept at a level to economically be subservient. And we're buying into all of the images of buying into the God. We're building $1 million churches in the middle of the damn projects. How such sense does that make? You got an institution, a building that's sitting there all week long. You're in it for 3 hours. And you got folk who are living in houses for the under 165 hours of the week with the roof leaking. And you think you are serving a mighty God. Tell me, we've created institutions for folk to look up to and not be empowered by. We took the cross down because the cross is a symbol of this new modern Christianity that has nothing to do with Christ. Let's look at it. That's where the Baptists and everybody come from. Let's break it down for you, Roy. Now, I want you to hold me back to the steeple. But let me ask you something. Let me tell you something. 75% of what the Catholic Church does, the universal church, has nothing to do with the Bible or the Most High. That's why people protested. And it was a creation of the Protestants or the Protestants. The Protestants are those who rejected Catholicism.
Yes.
That's where the Baptists came out of. And even I showed them the other night, on the 12th article of faith of the Baptist Church, it says that we established and we're in place so that we might take us back to the holy law. The Most High never took us away from the laws. The new commandment, he said, I do a new commandment in you. Why? Because the old commandments are on stone, but now I'm going to place my commandments in your heart.
Right.
That's what that means. And the only thing that was taken away from the law was the blood sacrifices. Because when you came to the atonement and those you had to kill blood or kill lambs for the Passover and all of that, that was taken away. Why? Because there's no need for a blood sacrifice, because Yeshua HaMashiach, the Christ, died once and for all. When his blood was shed, there was no longer a need to go back to the holy days. Now, the holy days, isn't it amazing that Satan got us celebrating holidays?
Easter's coming up.
Oh, that is the biggest, Christmas is the biggest evil holiday. Easter is next. Easter comes around the time of Astaroth. It comes from Astaroth. She was the goddess of heaven. Astaroth was the goddess of heaven. According to Babylonian work, She was, you got to realize who Semiramis was. See, there's different names for different gods because at the Tower of Babel, when the nations were scattered into 70 different languages, different people had different names. Aphrodite, Venus, all of those come from, now I've been to Ephesus. I've studied in the 7 churches of Asia Minor. I've been to Ephesus. In Ephesus, the sign of Ephesus is a male penis with 2 balls on the side. And most of our churches are built like a dick with some nuts. This one is the same way. This is the penis. The 2 sides back there are the balls because it deals with fertility. Why? Because at the temple of Artemis, at the temple of Diana, how they worshiped was they went in and had sex with temple prostitutes. Simple prostitutes. Easter has nothing to do with the resurrection of Christ. So temple prostitutes, they get pregnant in the spring. They have the baby in December, 9 months later. That's where Christmas comes from. Something called Saturnalia. Now, how they get Easter is what the Catholic Church says, okay, we have our celebration, and this is around the same time that man named Jesus got up. So we're gonna close it in together. One of my deacons came, we had a deacons meeting the week after that sermon. He says, Reverend, I now know we have been hoodwinked because I intentionally did it. It wasn't Easter. We were preaching about the Easter. And I said, isn't it amazing that on the 3rd day, he rose with all power. I did it Baptist style.
Right.
He rose with all power in his hand. He stood out on resurrection ground and laid an egg. What in the hell does fertility and an Easter egg and bunny rabbits have to do with the resurrection of Christ? It's because Easter existed before Jesus was even walked the earth.
Come on now.
It is a pagan holiday that talked about fertility, Aphrodite. And what the Catholic Church did is we got to get them to honor this, so we're going to push it all together. We're going to push it all together. Christmas is one of the most satanic holidays that there is because the actual birth on Christmas is of Tammuz, who is the son of Semiramis and Nimrod. In the Bible, Genesis talks about Nimrod, where Nimrod was actually Satan.
Yes.
Okay? Now, let me break it down to you. When Nimrod died, because he was killed, and the book of Jubilees bring this out, Nimrod was killed by Esau. Okay? When Nimrod died, they had his grave, and next to his grave grew up an evergreen tree. And Semiramis said, that's Nimrod's penis. And we need to bow down to his penis. So therefore, the evergreen tree, there's now a Christmas tree, they put the presents at the bottom so you can bow down to Nimrod's penis. Now, where we are with all of this today? Trump is a useful idiot. And they're taking us back on all of this so that they can get our minds. You see, remember, the Bible says that the devil is the author of confusion.
Correct.
Elon Musk looks like Satan. Every image we had seen of Satan in all of the movies looks like Elon Musk.
Correct.
They are the epitome of confusion. But I think it is one of the most awesome times in our history. Why? Because it gets to awaken us, and it gets us to begin to understand who we are, and it gets us to create our own. Whenever Israel has been together, we have prospered. What do you mean? We were never intended to flow with the other nations anyway. Integration is the worst thing that happened to us as a people.
The worst.
Okay? And every time we are together and begin to work with each other is when we prosper. That's why they came after Greenwood, because we had our own community, we had our own banks, we had our own stores, everything we needed was in our community, and they bombed it. But we ain't got to go far. Go to Oscarville, right there in Atlanta. There's a city underwater. Go to, in Manhattan, in Central Park, how they killed and buried us there.
Yes, sir.
Everywhere and every time we are together as a people, because we have the anointing and we are the most chosen high. We are the most highest chosen. And because we work together, his power. So the blessed thing, see, the devil always mess up. The devil led Yeshua to the cross and killed him. He just didn't realize that the blood that was dripping from his vein was redemption. And the devil always do something stupid. They got an idiot in the White House whose birthday comes up at the end of this month. April 1st. April Fools. It's got to be his birthday.
Yes, sir.
So he's there, and what he's doing is to our blessing. Because now every black person who's been asleep gets a chance to wake up. And in that awakening, we get to impart wisdom and knowledge. Because just like you said the other day, the problem is we got too many pastors who are scared. Pastors are concerned about the cash and the crowd. I lost 137 members.
You're at the speed.
But I can't be concerned about that. I'm going to stand on the truth. I'm going to stand on righteousness. And we're going to walk in the authority of the word. Don't talk about the authority on the word. If you're running,
Correct.
you get to boldly come before the throne of grace. Now, yes, I need everybody's help. We're about to do a tour from Waycross to Washington. US 1, used to be State Street, Ossie Davis Parkway.
Yes.
It goes right by the White House. We're going to get on the road, and we're going to go from Waycross to Washington and ask for audience with the president, because the greatest thing we can do is to speak to power with power. Let's talk about the Capitol for a second. Do you realize what the District of Columbia is? Columbia is a pagan goddess.
Oh, man.
No, let's back it up. And it all goes back to some sexual orientation. Because the Washington Monument is an asteroid that stands for the penis of Nimrod. And at the top of the Capitol, in the top part of the Capitol, is Semiramis' womb, her vagina. Hold it. And the Washington Monument.
Let's get it.
The Washington, if it falls down right, it enters directly into Semiramis' vagina. This nation, if you go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, it says very clearly, it prophesies about America. Daniel 7:25 says very clearly, there are 10 horns of this empire. There are 4 empires that were to rule the world before Yeshua the Christ came back. 4 empires. The last empire to rule the world is the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire had 10 countries as a part of its, and those are called the 10 horns of the Roman Empire. The book of Daniel chapter 7:25 says very clearly that from those 10 horns, 3 of those horns will subdue the other kings. The 3 horns are France, Spain, and Great Britain. In this land in the West, France created Canada. Great Britain created the United States.
Yes.
Spain created the Mexico and South America.
Yes.
And it says that these 3 horns will weaken the nations. And I was going to take over. And those 3 horns will subdue and choose to change the times and the laws of the Most High. They're going to weaken the nation because they're going to pull those nations away from the word of the Most High. Now, that's where America is. We are under the power of Satan. So it ain't no make no difference. The only, I think, righteous president we ever had was, he just died. That was Jimmy Carter. He
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
everybody
yeah.
else. No, let's talk about Obama.
Yeah.
Obama ushered in the homosexual movement.
Very much so.
So we can't give no license to him because he worked. Matter of fact, he's related to all the presidents. All of the presidents have been related by blood except for Trump. He's the useful idiot that they had to put back in.
Wow.
But America is in the Bible. Go to Daniel chapter 7. And it said it will change the laws and the times, because the real reason that they want to change the laws and the time, the real reason they went to a Sunday worship is because the Sabbaths were established to keep us in track to the holy days. And the Sabbaths and the holy days are celebrated in heaven before the foundation of the world. What do you mean? That's why Yeshua the Christ says, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So when we are submissive to the Sabbath day, then we are in sync with heaven. When we honor the holy days, we're in sync with heaven. But the devil has already come up with every month there is another God that we find ourselves running after Valentine's Day. That is evil. And there's Cupid. That's the God of Valentine's Day.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
see, we just celebrated this past weekend the New Year. The New Year comes in the spring. Why in the world would you bring a new year in the dead heat of winter?
Correct.
Okay, so, and actually the calendar according to Enoch and Jubilees has 364 days. 12 months. At the end of every 3 months is another day. 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31. Because on that last day, that's when the seasons change. This is the Most High's calendar. Isn't it amazing that if this calendar is so holy, why does Easter bounce from March to April? If Jesus got up, he get up April this year? If Yeshua got up with all power in his hand, did he get the date right?
Come on now.
This ignorance that we have been perpetuated. That's why I took the steeple off the church, because that is an Ashtaroth pole. It is honor to Ashtaroth. And the Bible says, take down your Ashtaroth poles and your groves that give honor to other gods. The first commandment that the Most High says, thou shalt have no other God before me. And black folk, we got to wake up. We are the tribe of Judah. We are the tribe of kings. We are the tribe of queens. And it is time for us. And I think by that useful idiot being in the White House, is a time for us to become awakened.
It is definitely time for us to come awaken. I want to before we end off, you know, I want to talk about is something that you mentioned about the stone being taken away.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it. We not only took that Ashtaroth pole down, but we took the cornerstone from the church.
That's very monumental.
Now, we're going to put it back up, but let me tell you what we're taking off.
Okay.
See, remember what Ephesians says, that Yeshua HaMashiach is the chief cornerstone of which everything is built on. See, my dad was a building contractor. If you want the house to be right, you got to get the cornerstone right, because everything else is built on it. So the Masons, who are out of the Illuminati, they're offshoot of the Illuminati and the Jesuits, when they come in, they choose to take the authority and the place of Yeshua HaMashiach, the Christ, by being a cornerstone. That's why they have we went around town. It is amazing that they come to the black church to do that. The Masons are the corner. I went to white churches, they ain't got no cornerstone. Because the power that Satan wants to have is to manipulate black folk into not knowing that we are Israel. So we took the cornerstone down, and we're taking the Masonic things off the bottom, because the Masonic order is from the Illuminati. Let's talk about it also, our fraternities and sororities. Now, I was a Mason. I'm third degree Mason. I didn't go up. I had chosen not to go up. I don't need to know the secrets. But I know now that it is a satanic order. And now you got a whole group of folk who will dispute me on this, but I want you to go to the word. And then I'm Alpha Phi Alpha. I was Alpha Phi Alpha from 1981. I had to write a letter to the headquarters and denounce my membership. I got brothers that I love that we went through hell with for nothing. And now I had to give it up because when Alpha Phi Alpha being the first black, why in the world do we have a Greek lettered fraternity? We aren't Greek. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, I was brother of the year for my chapter, for the state of Alabama, and for the southern region. And I was first runner-up, brother of the, I loved Alpha Phi Alpha, but I recognize there is significance from a satanic perspective that the Sphinx guards the pyramid. Because under the pyramid is the fallen angel Azazel that gives the power to the Illuminati. And they have literally, if you go to the book Hebrews to Negroes, he's going to outline how they had to create divisions. Okay? And there's a man by the name of Albert Beck. They sent from England into New York to create divisions within the Israelites, within the black community. So they went to Cornell University and got 7 black men that we know as the 7 Jewels to start the first black Greek lettered fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, 1906. And then 1911 comes Omega Psi Phi and Kappa Alpha Psi, and they're all warring against each other. Because they're organized, they have taken the structured minds, they've taken the intellectual minds, those who are in college, those who have now cultured, and they're controlling their minds through satanic symbols. And if you go to the book of Satan symbols, our folk are throwing them up. The NAACP itself, it's not a black organization. Of the 9 people that started it, 6 of them were Ashkenazi Jews. They were white. They're designed. Now, it took a whole new meaning from what they designed it. So now, about 20 years ago, they had to rein in the NAACP. What do you mean? Now, in order for you to, I was president of the NAACP. In order for you to be a president, if you want to do actual work within your community, it has to go up to the headquarters to be approved. You can't tell me to go up to the headquarters to go fight somebody from City Hall. I don't need somebody from New York telling me to do that because it's all a control system. They're controlling the church. Where in the heck is T.D. Jakes? Where in the heck are all these mega preachers who've been bought by the government? Where are they when we need them to speak up for righteousness, speak up for justice? Where are they? I'm just a little country preacher, but I'm trying to lead folk to the light. They have the masses. They have the minds of the people every day. When are we, pastors, going to wake up and stand for truth? I ain't got nothing against T.D. Jakes.
I know, I'm there with you.
I ain't got nothing to go to these mega pastors.
Yeah.
But they money, the reason they can't preach like I preach, because see, the reason is because I'm not for sale.
Come on now.
The reason they had a problem with Yeshua HaMashiach, he couldn't be bought. The Christ couldn't be bought. The devil, after he came down for 40 days fasting, 40 days and 40 nights, the devil said, I'm going to give you the kingdom of the world. Jesus said, well, brother, I made the world. I created the world. See, that's the part of the gospel we get mixed up. The Son is the one who actually created all things under the authority and the power of the Father. 2 Peter 3:8. Before the earth was created, there were 3 in heaven, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And John chapter 1, verse 1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by Him. And without Him was not anything made that was made. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. Where we are right now, if you read eschatology, we're in the last days. And if you go down to understanding the course of time, the Bible tells us when the world will end. The Bible didn't tell us when Yeshua is coming back. But 14,000 years in the life of the world. It took 6,000 years to create the world. Because the book of Peter says, a day with the Most High is 1,000 years to man. Before it says that, it says, I would not have you ignorant, brethren. Don't be ignorant. 1,000 years to man is a day to the Most High. Now, I'm going to break this down to you, okay?
Let's talk.
Now, so if a day to the Most High is 1,000 years to us, it took the world 6,000 years to be created by the Son. I just told you that in John. 1 John, the Most High did not create the world. He assigned it to his Son. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. That means the Son was with God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him. And without him was not anything made that was made. So 6,000 years it took Yeshua to make the world. The Most High creates man, and man messes it up. And Genesis chapter 6, the Most High says, I will not have my spirit to dwell with you, but 120 years. Now, if you go back and look in the scriptures, those 100 years are talking about the Jubilees. And 120, and a Jubilee is 50 years.
Okay.
And 120 times 50 is 6,000. So man messed the world up. And the Most High said, I'm going to leave these devils here on this earth for 6,000 more years. That's why Yeshua the Christ says, I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, because you done messed this one up. If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. There where I am, there ye may be also. He says, you done messed this world up. I got to go and create a whole new world. Revelation 21 says, and I, John, saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the old heaven and the old earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. 6,000 years to create the world, a millennium to rest. We're coming close to the end of the other 6,000 years. I did it Sunday. I explained to folk how those days work. We're coming close to the end of those 6,000 years. My brothers and my sisters, they just want us to be real with it and make it happen. And where we are right now, Trump is allowing for hastening the last days. He's making it become a reality. We say it every day in our prayer. We tell him, let Trump reign, let the devil have his way, because Yeshua in the Lord's prayers, thou Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. We need you to rule. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast. We want to thank Pastor Pharrell Malone for taking the time out to share his story, share his journey, share this time with our audience. We want to say thank you.
I want to say one last thing. I know you got, my calling came out of Joshua, chapter 1, verses 1 through 9. And verse 8 says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage.
Yes, sir.
Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord Ahaya is with you, whithersoever you go. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast. Want to thank you guys for tuning in. We got a phenomenal story to share with you guys.
Now the world they will see. That's why we run. We got a life still.